So the Knuckles series has just come out, and there is a reference that could connect it to not only Shadow, but a major plot point in Sonic 3. You may have missed it when watching the episodes, but when I point it out to you, it's all gonna make sense. If you haven't watched it yet, don't worry, I'm not gonna spoil anything. But if you want to know my thoughts on it, you can check out my review and then come back. And just to get you a little bit more excited, we may also have a release date for the trailer for Sonic 3. I'll talk more about that near the end of the video. Enough dilly-dallying, let's jump right into this. The last two episodes of Knuckles take place in a bowling tournament in Reno, and during this tournament there are two commentators, and you're probably wondering, why the heck am I talking about this? Well, one of the things they talk about is how Knuckles is there and the fact that he's an extraterrestrial, which has never happened before at a tournament. Except, according to one of them, this isn't true and one has shown up before. Now, I can't show the entire clip due to copyright, but what he says is, I looked it up and there was a visit by an extraterrestrial in the 1974 tournament, but I don't think he was red. And now you're thinking, how does this connect to Sonic 3 and Shadow? Well, this is not some throwaway joke. It's so out of place and specific that the writers are begging you to pay attention to it. In fact, the same specification has happened in the last two Sonic movies. Once by Maddie in the first movie saying that there's always been a Wachowski protecting Green Hills for over 50 years.
There's been a Wachowski protecting this town for more than 50 years.
And then of course again in the second movie's post-credit scene when Gunn mentioned that they found files for Project Shadow that are dated back 50 years ago.
A file buried deep in our system and dating back over 50 years.
Project Shadow.
In fact, to take it one step further, even in Sonic Adventure 2, which Sonic 3 is said to be heavily based on, Project Shadow and the events with Marie happened 50 years before the main story of the game. This is not a coincidence. In every single live-action Sonic project, they have mentioned 50 years ago to link it to Shadow. But how does this make sense in the context of the Knuckles show? How is there a recorded sighting of Shadow 50 years ago at a tournament? Well, I have a small theory. Going off the events of Sonic Adventure 2, when Gunn is invading the space colony arc, Shadow and Marie are trying to escape, but then obviously one of the soldiers shoots Marie. But with her last bit of strength, she manages to send Shadow in an escape pod to Earth. And I think the only possible scenario I can see is that Shadow's escape pod somehow lands in a tournament or maybe near a tournament and they've just recorded it as such. Obviously, this will all make sense when the film releases. They're going to change a few events from Sonic Adventure 2. It's not going to be a direct copy. But this is the only way I can really see Shadow being spotted at a bowling tournament. However crazy it might sound, you cannot deny that this is intentional. This is not a coincidence. It's too specific for them to have used this time frame in every single live action project. I'm fully confident that all these references are linked and connected to Project Shadow. Now, what might help us understand it a bit more is the trailer for Sonic 3, which, as I said at the start of this video, we might have a release date for. This information comes from Cryptic 4K Quality. If you're not already familiar with them, basically they post accurate information on runtimes of films, when tickets are releasing, and occasionally when trailers are releasing. Now, they said the other day that Sonic 3 is ramping up for a trailer release. They don't know the exact date it's going to release, but it seems very likely that it's going to release before Paramount's next project in theaters, if. And that does add up. Studios tend to post their trailers before a big release in theaters so that it gets played before that. So based on that, we can expect the Sonic 3 trailer to come out in the same week of release of the film. Usually, trailers tend to come out on Mondays and Tuesdays, so if I had to guess, I'd expect the trailer on either the 13th or 14th of May. But remember, this isn't confirmation. However, with Knuckles out of the way, it seems very likely that they'll start pushing the promotion for Sonic 3. If you want updates on this, make sure you subscribe because I'll definitely be covering the trailer. And remember to check out my Knuckles review if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.